All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. I got my co-host Robert Benenati.
Hello, everyone.
We're on a real estate kick. Our last two podcasts have been about real estate. Honestly, the market in Florida is exploding, and that's all that people seem to be talking about to a certain degree in Florida. Or
Anywhere, everywhere, cafe,
everywhere.
wherever you sit down.
I've even had family members now recently buy 2 homes in Naples. It's just crazy. And everyone I talk to, either online or personally, I don't care if we're having cigars, drinks, it just seems to be the topic of the year, I guess. So Robert is a realtor. And the reason I want to bring this up is because I think he's one person who will take an honest approach when it comes to hiring the right realtor. And the reason I bring this up is, like I was saying, a lot of people are buying real estate in Florida. I don't care if you're from California, the Midwest, East Coast. I don't care if you're from Canada. Even my buddy in Canada is hitting me up wanting to buy property in South Florida, possibly. So what I want to ask Robert is, in his opinion, really, how do you find the right realtor besides just seeing somebody on Google or seeing somebody on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram? Because as you know, a lot of times you end up with a realtor you're not very happy with, and people don't want to kind of admit that, or they're uncomfortable. What would you say from an honest approach besides just mass marketing?
Well, I think what the number one thing, and that makes sense to me, is at least what's worked for me is referrals. So I work with one client, and that client refers me to another. So they find me, and they come to me, and they call me, and they say, well, so-and-so referred me, and they told me you're the guy to go to. Right? So,
Gotcha.
So they already come referred, which is not, I'm not going to say easier on the marketing, right? Because I'm in a way doing marketing by the way I service my prior client.
Right.
Right? So that's my marketing strategy in order to be referred.
Gotcha.
Okay. So ask around, ask your, whoever, if you have friends, family that have bought, who they've used, what was their experience.
Let's go through the process, though, especially if you're out of state. Because a lot of my friends are realtors, and you find a piece of property you want a lot of times. And you kind of feel locked in or obligated because you call on that home and whoever the hell's selling it, right? Say you don't like that person. Or they're obnoxious, they're trying to bullshit you, they're trying to get more money out of it, or whatever it is. What's the next move?
So go with your gut feeling. That's number one. You're going to call anyone, be it on you found them on YouTube, online, on Google, Realtor.com, Zillow, wherever you found them.
But say I call, that person selling that home.
Right.
I don't like that person. I just don't like the way they are. How do you make the next move to get a realtor to get a bid on that house? You think the best way?
Then you have to go find the realtor. Okay, how's the best way? I don't know, because you're telling me you're out of state. So obviously, unless you have someone locally, and you can say, you could call Joe and say, hey, Joe,
right.
I'm looking to buy a house there, and I'm looking for a realtor. Do you have one that that you trust, that you've worked with, that you can recommend? Right?
Yeah.
That's what makes more sense. And if they don't, then you can interview, Google, use Google, Realtor.com, Zillow, take the time, find, and not always an agent working for a known company means they're going to be any better than one working out of a mom and pop real estate firm.
Sure.
Okay. When that happens and you have to interview over the phone, even over the phone, energy, I believe in energy travels. You have a gut feeling. You could sense if he's honest or she's honest. If they're trying to, like you say, bullshit you, they're trying to oversell themselves. You could tell right away.
Yeah.
And have a relationship with them. Talk to them, And if you don't like them, just move on. Thank you very much. And, I'll be reaching out to you, and just look for someone else.
Yeah, I think that's where people get scared, though. Regardless if they're in town or they don't know people, they don't want to put the homework in.
And be on, another thing, as a consumer, as a client, be honest and tell that client, I'm going to find someone else. I'm working with someone else. Just let them know. don't leave us hanging, because sometimes I'd rather you just tell me, listen, I'm going to work with someone else.
Yeah.
I found someone else. I was recommended to someone else, and don't leave me thinking that we're engaging in a relationship, in a working relationship, right? This way I don't have to call you. I don't have to follow up. And it doesn't mean that I'm bad or you're, it just means that we're not meant to work together. And then that's fine, You have to find your match.
Is there a website out there or something where it ranks, or you have a ranking besides, say, your websites or anything like that? Or is it just kind of...
Yeah, I mean...
It is what it is type thing?
If you as an agent have done your work, your legwork to have your prior clients rank you, rate you, be it on Realtor.com, maybe even Zillow, Trulia, or even Google if you have a Google page,
right?
Then, or your Facebook page now, right? Then that might work.
Right. I'm going to flip this now too, because I don't think a lot of people realize when they're the ones calling an agent how they come across. So a lot of, as you know, a lot of people complain about realtors, but but when they call in, they don't realize kind of how they act to a certain degree, right? So it kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
When calling a realtor, what do you think the best way to go about that is? Because,
honest, be honest.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Just
it's
be
just
honest.
Straight honest about what you want to buy, how much you can afford from the beginning.
I do, for example, and this is my example. If I go buy a car, and I've done this all the time, every single time I go in to buy a car, this is what I do. I go up to the salesperson, and I tell him, listen, you're a salesperson, I'm a salesperson. I appreciate time, and I hope you do as well. I'm not going to be around the bush. This is what I'm looking for. If you can do it, fine. If you can't, don't keep me here, because we're not going to do a deal, and you're going to waste your time and probably lose out on the next client.
Yeah.
And I know you depend on your commission, on your sales, so I'd rather you go sell to someone else. So let's not waste time.
Yeah.
Because the faster we get through this, the faster you can move on to someone else.
Sure.
Right? Because I depend on a commission as well, on a sale. So that's my approach, being honest to them. Well, same thing, a client to us. Just be honest. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I need to get done. Can you do this? Yes, no. If not, I will look for someone else.
Sure.
Just tell me what you're looking for, what you need, and let's start from there. And that's how you're going to build the relationship.
Yeah, because a lot of people out there waste a lot of realtors' time. Let's call it for what it is, a lot of time.
They do.
They're...
And they're hopping around from agent to agent, trying to see which agent is going to get them the best deal. Listen, if you want to get the most out of that agent, show that agent loyalty.
Yeah.
And that agent will work for you. And if he doesn't, then you have all the right and reason to just move on to the next agent. That will. But when you find that agent that is working for you, that is sending you information, that is keeping you updated, that is providing a service, be loyal.
Yeah. I also think people got to take it upon their self to help the agent a little bit more to a certain degree too. Not just depend on, say I hire you as an agent, you're looking for homes for me or condos or townhomes, right? You can do your own research as well.
Yeah, there is. And
don't just depend on him.
Nowadays, consumers, buyers have a lot of access, and there's so many different websites, third-party websites that have so much information that one agent might not be able to cover every single website or every single form of listing, right?
Yeah.
So if you do find something, just send it to your agent and let him look at it. A lot of times I've had clients send me, look, I found this home here and there. And sometimes there were scams.
Sure.
Because that's what happens. It could be a scam, and I could point it out. Other times they're just old listings that appear active, and they were really not active. They were already have been foreclosed on or sold or whatever the case is, right?
Sure.
So that's another reason why to work with an agent. Send them the listing. Hey, I think I found something. Look into it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, for sure. Because I just think a lot of people take for granted that the realtor sees everything, I guess, and has all this information, which they do have a lot of information, but things can just
No, yeah, and the other thing is we let's say we build a relationship. You're up in Chicago. I'm down here. You tell me this is what I want to buy. You don't know the area, so I start picking. Let's say I do my criteria on my automated search on the MLS, so you can start getting these emails with these type of homes.
Yeah.
And I miss one zip code.
Yeah.
Let's just say, right?
Yeah.
And in that zip code, there was 1 or 2 properties that fit exactly your criteria, and you go ahead and find it because you were just accidentally bumped into it, right? And you send it to me like, this is what I'm looking for. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that works. And I missed the zip code. I wasn't looking for it. Or I didn't type it in, or whatever the case is, right? So this is a teamwork, Yep. My clients, I go in and I, from day one, I explain the process, the whole process of buying here in Florida, how it works from the moment of getting pre-qualified through finding the home, getting inspected, appraisal, what happens with the appraisal, and if it does or does not appraise, what's the next step, all the closing, title, everything, how everything works, and give them like an overview. So now we work together as a team.
Sure.
And we don't, they don't get any surprises down the road. Well, I missed, I didn't tell you this or that. No, I kind of gave you the overview, and then as we go down the line, we get deeper into details, right? But that gives my buyers a sense of, okay, we're working together on this. We're a team.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you want to get your home. I want to find a home for you.
Yeah.
So let's work together.
Yeah, I also, being around realtors my entire life, a lot of people out there also don't realize they're flip-floppers. Let's say it could be price or it could even be location. It's quite interesting. They'll be like, I want to be here, right, for a while. Then they may even talk to a friend or someone else. Before you know it, they want to be over here, right? They don't even let you know, or they're confronting you and saying, why is this so much cheaper than here? Or why don't, it's kind of a, it gets confusing, let's say.
That's something I've taught in my trainings to other agents, right? Do your discovery. One thing is what they want, one thing is what they need. It's a big difference.
And what they can afford.
And what they can afford, right? So, yeah, I want 5 bedrooms with a pool, but all I need is 3 bedrooms with no pool, right? Let's just say. And that's what I can afford.
Sure.
So why even look at these, 5 bedrooms when there's no sense.
Right.
So that's your job because you're the professional. And a lot of new agents, especially new agents, don't have what it takes to sit down and tell the client what they need to know, not what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the way it's going to go. What do you need? Not what you want. What do you need? Let's get the bases going here.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
What can you afford? What's your purchasing power? What is it you need? Let's start from there.
Yeah.
And then we could grow. But don't have me driving all around town because you just want to see everything. I can't show you 8,000 listings.
Right.
Right? It just doesn't work. My job is to narrow it down and even make your buying experience easier.
Right.
If I show you in one day 8 houses, by the time we go to the third one, you already forgot what the first one looked like.
Yep.
So there's no sense of doing that.
Yep. We're not going to go on and on. We can go on and on.
We can, yes.
And I will wrap it up with this, at least from me being an outsider, is if you're going to call for a home, be as specific as possible. So if you're not worried about schooling, you don't got kids anymore in school, let the realtor know. I'm just saying, if you want to be near whatever you want to be near, be specific.
One question I always tell buyers, they tell me, I'm looking for a home. What are you looking for? Well, a home. Well, what do you want? How many bedrooms, what size, 1 story, 2 story, with a pool, no pool, when, no neighbors in the rear, you want a conservation in the back, on the lake, on the golf course, on the cul-de-sac, on the corner, an interior lot. What do you want?
Exactly.
You have to be more specific.
Yeah. What do you want to be near? You want to be near the airport? You want to be near the beach? You want to be near? I'm just saying.
The roads, near shopping.
What restaurants you want to be?
Isolated, secluded. What are you
want to be on a
for?
lake? Do you not want to be? Do you want to be near a lake? Do you want to be able to have access to a lake but not be on lakefront property? All these things.
Yeah. And when I put it like that, they're like, oh, it hits them. I'm like, okay, yeah. So then they start picturing in their minds how their next home will look like.
Exactly. Write it all down.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell your realtor everything you want, because the more you tell them, especially at the beginning, the clearer it is.
Yeah, and when I do that and sit down and say all this to them, they it gets very clear. They're like, well, definitely no lake.
Right.
Because whatever the case is.
Yeah.
My kids, my dog, or whatever.
Taxes,
pets,
all that stuff. I don't want to pay this amount of tax. I don't want to be in this county. I don't want to be near this state, near this city.
I have kids. I would like a cul-de-sac because this way my kids could play outside and no car, whatever it is. A corner lot. A lot of people like that because they don't want no neighbors on one side. Yeah, 1,000 of reasons,
There is. Just be specific.
But that's a realtor's job to actually guide, especially a new buyer too.
Yeah.
A lot of new buyers, I just want a house. Just picture, okay, it's in your head.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit more. How do you see the house? How does it look like? So.
All right. Wrap it up. Tell them where the hell they could find your ass.
All social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. I'm out there as 365 Realty or Robert Benenati. Either way you can find me.
All right. All right, everyone. Take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.